Hello to whoever may be watching this video. Um, I had a lot of plans, and I had a lot of not plans that turn into a bunch of nonsense. For example, this. I was planning to build a portal in the basement of this house, and I was going to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna dig down. The problem is, even though this is creative mode, I created a world where there's not a whole lot of room for basement. There is a lot of room for the void and building upwards, but you can't build down here. So I had to make the basement a lot shorter and get, well, creative. You may be wondering what you're looking at, and this is my original character, Zil'ec Underwood, or Z for short. This is their house. Um, Again, this was supposed to be in a basement, which didn't work out. So this is a smaller model of the multiverse portal. This is like a truer to scale model that I encased in glass because I thought that looked pretty nice. Um, this sign was a last minute addition, but I think it looks nice. I honestly started with the door first and then built up, and then went back inside and did some decorations, put some signs out. Um, I think it looks pretty nice. And I added some stuff on top, and it doesn't really serve a purpose. There's nothing up here, but I think that's cool. I just think it looks cool. Maybe I could put a portal up there because I was planning to put a real portal, and then I realized, oh no, no room in the basement, as I said. Um, and I put signs up there too. And oops, that one's facing weird, and I didn't notice until right now, but that's okay. Um, and I was inspired by a friend to make this, and so I just kind of went crazy with it. Uh, and so this is the kitchen and pantry. I put some food stuff in there, in here, like for decoration and like stuff you'd use to cook food, and like literal food stuff like eggs and pies and fish. And you're probably wondering, who is Zil'ec Underwood? They're one of my characters. They're one of my many monster original characters. And this is not their room, this is one of their roommates' rooms. Um, Zil'ec is a sea monster who took in various skeletons from various Undertale AU alternate universes, you know. And so I have various versions of them. And I wasn't really sure what to put in the skeletons' rooms, but this is citrus, and this is indigo, and that's where the basement portal is. uh, I didn't really realize it was going to stick out until I started decorating the basement, and then I came back up and was like, oh, well, he can deal with it. And I thought that would be a cool addition. And the stuff on the walls is not super symbolic out in the hallways. I just think it was I just thought that was pretty cool. Um And I made this living room to be one of the last things I made. This would be like a couch, and that would be the TV, and then I put the paintings up there, and I was like, that's perfect. And there's only one like wall decoration here because it's like dust and there's specific components you need to make a TV and whatnot. Um, and speaking of the basement, this is it's meant to evoke kind of like a maze. It's supposed to be like forbidden, which is why there's walls everywhere and spooky. It's supposed to be spooky, but I don't know if it is. I'm aiming for a forbidden feel, the vibes. And put a bunch of stuff, circuits, enchanting table, beacon, a bell. Um, and not over here. Oops. I'm not very good with directions, but this is only one floor, and these are basically well, they're for decoration, but like, it doesn't really, like, it's kind of boring just to have it all out there. So I figured I'd add kind of like a maze kind of look, and then feel it very carefully or from certain angles you can see like, well, not really from over there, but like over here you can see this stuff, but you can't really get to it because of the ceiling and the gates and the fences. And I thought that would be a cool addition. And back upstairs to the main floor, and then there's another room here, and this is Peach and Persimmon's room, and I thought it would be pretty awesome to have that one on the wall specifically. At first, it was an accident, and I kind of wanted to take it down, and then I was like, you know what? Let's just keep it. And their clothes are kind of raggedy and run down because of their uh, alternate universe origin. And you know, again, it's like the vibe. And I didn't really know what to put here, so I just put some extra stuff on the wall. And I put up fences like with downstairs so you wouldn't accidentally fall down. And yeah, there's more wall stuff. And I'll save Zilec's room for last because it's super important. Um Again, I wasn't really sure what to put in the Skelly's rooms, and this one was the first one I decorated. So here's Ruby, and I really considered giving Ruby a weapon, and then I was like, no, I like them having a shield. And here's Carmine, and there's the flaming skull on their wall. Um, this isn't anybody's room, but it is kind of a. I thought it would be neat to have a library because I love books, and this is here because I was having kind of a struggle and I wanted to note that stuff. Struggling with the basement and the stairs, where I put the stairs because I'd already placed the rooms and the armor stands for a bit. But I thought it would be cool to have this too. And I haven't explained who they are yet. Like, Well, I did, but like they're not your typical like Skilla Bros. I have a lot of transgender interpretations of them. They're all going through some sort of gender stuff, basically. These skeletons, and I'm realizing now that I could have made a statue of Zil'ec here, but like at that point, I was several hours in and I was tired, so I didn't want to. I wanted to decorate their wall and 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 then stop. And then it's not really stuff they'd have other than like the books and the paintings. But yeah. Um and this is their bed. Um I also wrote a couple pages in terms of what like they'd be thinking because they do art for a job. Like they're a commission freelance commission artist, but they're insecure and they're struggling with some stuff. Um and like art is their primary thing, but they also like writing, but they're kind of bad at writing and they're used to comparing themselves to other people. So, like their stuff is kind of feels less serious and it's a struggle they deal with in their story, which is what I'm writing right now. And I figured since I was struggling with the placement of their house and stuff in my head, I built it in Minecraft. So thank you for watching, and if you heard my dogs barking in the background, no you didn't. Um and if you have any questions or suggestions or something, then leave them in the comments. Thank you.